Okay, right away, I cut the deck and I got blessings. I feel like we're starting off with some interesting energy. I am Cecilia, if you're new here. I'm using a new deck today. Not new to me, but possibly new to you. I kind of save this deck for personal readings, meaning like just me. And every now and then I'll use this deck for my clients. It's called an Angel Oracle deck. And these have like very specific messages. And I really like them. This one's Miracles. And another one flew out. Hold on. So we have Dreams. All right. So this particular deck was gifted to me. And this is one of the first decks that I ever started working with. And it has always been really beautiful, uplifting messages. And I feel like 111, this is exactly where you're at right now. I think that maybe you're even trying to take a break from tarot. So you feel like you're not in the same space, which tarot readings can kind of fall into certain categories. And sometimes that's really helpful, right? Where I feel like there are major areas of our life that we're usually focusing on, right? And it typically ends up being, your personal health, your money, your soulmate connections, your friends, your career, right? So I feel like in this deck, it was always about a reading for me and myself. And that's the energy that I'm focusing on today. So I'm mostly going to be channeling this because that's what I'm being told to do. And I'm going to go with these themes right now because I feel like if you're finding this, you have been 222 finding a lot of synchronicities, especially right now. I think especially saying it a lot. When you are seeing the same things click over and over and over again, and maybe you're finding yourself in a kind of groove now where certain things that you were working on before required a lot of energy from you, and you're finding that those things are naturally taking place without as much effort. And I feel like that is where you're noticing the most flow. At first, you're seeing all of these places where it used to take a lot for you to maybe get up early, eat well, go outside, spend time doing things for your body, for your career, putting yourself first, all of these things that were once resolutions and goals, and now they're naturally part of 333. They're part of your regimen. They're part of how you're already integrating this into your life. And first of all, really proud of you. That's really great because you're already starting to see the improvements of that. And this is where you get to take a step back and reap the rewards, right? We always know that there can always be more improvements, right? That's not really we just got a signal. This is great. You're always going to be wanting to make improvements and you're always going to be striving for more, and that is fantastic. But make sure that there are still stops along the way that serve as checkpoints for where you are grateful for where you are without any more adjustments, without any more goal setting, like really seeing that this is exactly the place that you had once envisioned from a place that was much further back, right? And then that can also be the fuel for getting excited about those bigger goals because you're getting 4 for 4. We're clocking them. I'm just that this is more and more confirmation that you are going in the right direction and that you're capable of manifesting the things that you want to, right? When you're finding that this is just, I mean, knocking it out of the park, one goal after another, after another, after another, and you keep moving that goalpost. So in a way, you're kind of satisfied, but you're kind of not. And it's an interesting place to be. And I want you to start finding comfort in this, because those bigger goals will start to be your new baseline too. Where this place that you're at now, where you might not necessarily have 100 things that you had set out, but you've got like 50, or you've got some seriously like undeniable percentage here where it's clearly growth, and it doesn't have to. Ooh, we got another confirmation that things are slowing down for you. I think that things are starting to mesh well with the life that you had envisioned. And even if it is seemingly small things that you do now, where you're meditating more, you're stopping, you're taking a breath before you respond, that's big shit, babe. Like, that may seem small now because it's something that you've started to train yourself to do, but as you acknowledge that these were once goals of yours to maintain composure, to respond in a certain way, or to at least stop responding the same way always when new things are coming into your life every day. You never know what's going to happen. So by having these moments of evaluation where this is just a checkpoint for you, right? So just with the theme of this reading in and of itself, I feel like having goals that are just within yourself. It's great to have a dream car, and it's great to have a dream house, and it's great to have a dream body and all of those wonderful things. But I think that having a dream personality and working on that aspect of your dream self has gotten you further and closer to those other things than just going straight for it. And I feel like you're starting to figure that out, right? Where you spend more time on, okay, look, I'm gonna find peace when there's horrible things going on. I'm gonna find a time for myself when there's overwhelm. I'm going to find moments to take care of myself when it's just natural. I'm going to need that throughout the day. And I think that we're all getting to a place where we're done pushing through natural things that you're going to need, like sleep or eating or, I don't know, name one, babe. Like, this is the time where you're realizing that actually taking better care of yourself sets you up to be in a place where you can take better care of everything else. And I'm recording this around the holidays, but I feel like, you know, as it is, this is a timeless message and a general reading, right? So if you're seeing this, you're probably going to fall in some of these categories. And if everything seems kind of true for you, then it's me and you, bud. And that's where we're at, right? We're finding people who align with the things that we're actually doing, rather than trying to force the people around us to be anything and everything that we need all the time. And I think more importantly, you're becoming that person on your own. So it's easier to even align with people who aren't necessarily on that path, but you don't necessarily need them to fulfill those things for you. And that in and of itself is its own miracle, right? So we have our people pleaser past. We have our condition to put other people's needs first. We have people who were just literally like, I was realizing something about myself, and probably called to share this because someone else is going to resonate with it, where I just realized that I was starting, like, I was really just like guilt-free starting to buy myself new clothes if I needed it, or something that would be more comfortable for me. And in a time where I feel like people are definitely very frivolous when it comes to buying lots of new clothes. So there was a part of me that hadn't bought new clothes in a longer time than I realized, because I wasn't prioritizing that, right? But then there was also an aspect where I wasn't really comfortable as myself or going out in certain places because I felt like my clothes really didn't represent me or I wasn't comfortable in them. So it was this back and forth between that. And I feel like maybe that's something you can resonate with, where even just getting rid of limiting beliefs like that, where it's kind of just like, oh, I don't need new winter boots. Those other ones are fine. Meanwhile, they're not fine. They don't feel great. And I don't really like them. They were a gift like a long time ago. And I just decided that because I have some, that I didn't deserve what I wanted, right? And these are smaller things that I feel like, yeah, in some sense, you do have to cut back in these ways when the time comes for it. But then there's also times where you feel like you're spending that money on other things that aren't really that important to you, but you kind of give yourself permission to do that in different ways. So showing up for yourself is the miracle here, right? Whether it is saying, hey, I might buy a product that might not be perfect. It might be a waste of money, right? And like actually not getting mad at yourself for it, because how would you know if you didn't buy the product and try it? Or getting close, right? Getting things that you might end up giving to somebody else or whatever. Like I really didn't realize that at one point, like 90% of my closet was just clothes that other people had given me at some point. So I really didn't pick out anything. And I was like, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. And I realized that needed to be a me thing, right? So having these aspects that you can dream up of your ideal self, I'm sure that there are parts of that you feel like, oh yeah, like that version of me would be comfortable in this, right? Would wear this kind of hairstyle, this kind of coat, like this kind of whatever. And I think that is where we're giving the credit today. I feel like these are the little miracles along the way that at one point it seemed like a really big stretch, whether you were suffering with your health or you were having issues with just straight up no support, right? You're starting from scratch. You're going to give up bad habits and you're going to start new ones. You're going to start good ones and you're going to start the ones that you want, right? And sometimes it can be the small things where it's like, hey, I started coloring recently. Big deal, right? Because at one point you're telling yourself every day you want to start painting, you want to start writing music, you want to start writing, period. And that's a big deal because you're like, oh, I never have time for that. I don't even have time to eat lunch. How could I possibly make time to practice an instrument? And then all of a sudden you start implementing it a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time. And then the universe finds ways to give you more time to do those things. And you're like, look, I've been coloring constantly. I've been listening to music every day. I've been doing what I want to do all the time, meditating constantly. And these are things that you start implementing with intention and it starts to snowball. So I feel like now you're getting that, where it is literally compounding as you continue to focus on the things that are going right. And that's you know, that's the practice, right? But the thing is that you're getting better at it, you're getting stronger at it, you're getting faster, and you're like, I don't stay off beat for long, right? I may think about my past and I say that's irrelevant. I may think about something that somebody did that I'm not happy with and I say I don't care about it anymore. And these are things that we're just getting faster and stronger and better at wiping our hands of. That's a miracle in and of itself, right? Understanding that there was a version of you who would flip out for weeks and months and days because somebody said something that you didn't like, or because somebody made a comment about you, or because somebody was talking bad about you. And now you're kind of just like, why would I care? Miracle. Right? So these are the things that we don't get award ceremonies for, but they're huge. And being able to shift into these different versions of yourself when that was something that you just absolutely hoped and wished you could turn into at one point, where now you're skating past these things and you're on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But you really are in the midst of it right now, where like a lot of my messages lately have just been slow down. Or if you're seeing this, you are not meant to be rushing, and you're also doing a really good job of doing that right now, especially in the holidays. I feel like there can be some very fast-paced moments. Everything is just from this day to that day, this party to that event, to this thing, to that person, gotta see this, gotta see that. And this can be one of the most stressful times for people, right? And this is part of the manifestation, right? Learning how to be in the midst of the chaos, of the excitement, of the anticipation, of the nervousness, and sit with it and say, okay, I'm okay right now. I'm not waiting until it's over for a moment of relief. I can have my moment of relief right now. I am learning to enjoy things without being in my head. And if you're finding this is about you knowing that that's where you're at, right? You're able to navigate situations that once used to take you way off course. And you know it. And you know it. And there is that sense of relief of already understanding that there are tests that have been passed with flying colors. You've cut off situations that weren't serving you, people, places, things. Nobody's going to hold your presence over your own head. No one is going to make you feel as if your growth is imaginary. You are at a place where external validation is nice, but it is so last week. These are things that you've already validated about yourself, already validated about your journey, and you've gotten to a place where you're sitting pretty, you're looking pretty, you're feeling pretty, and most importantly, it's working. It's working. The work is working, okay? The meditations are working, the subliminals are working, the breath work is working. All of the things that you're doing to implement your life around having a better life are expanding. And it's getting easier and easier and easier. And now you're getting enjoyment out of actually implementing the things that you like. You say, okay, I wanted to make more time to do this. I wanted to make more time to go to the gym. I wanted to make more time to spend time with my loved ones. I wanted to make more time to just go for walks. And you're doing it, okay? And life didn't stop, right? You just decided that you were going to do different things with your time. And you still can watch TV, and you can still scroll on your phone every now and then, but you're just not going to make that an escape anymore, because you're having moments in your life that feel relief within themselves. And you've regulated yourself to a point where, listen, my body tells me immediately when I'm supposed to leave, and I listen. So that's how we're playing it. Literally playing it by ear, playing it by gut, playing it by nose, playing it by... I'm gonna play this one by smell, y'all. So this is having a completely new connection with yourself. And yeah, I basically didn't even pull any other cards. This entire reading was just about you connecting to you on a completely new level, in a way that says, I'm committed. I'm committed to myself. I'm committed to my happiness. I'm committed. We got a rock. We got a whole vibe. We got a Facebook page together. And it is me loving me so hard that anybody that like is kind of iffy on that stands out. And that's okay. Not everybody's meant to love me. Not everybody's meant to be my best friend. And I think that that is where you're finding the peace, right? Not trying to make those situations happen where you know that these things can align for you naturally, where you just meet somebody and it clicks, right? You don't have to force relationships. You don't have to force friendships. You don't have to force yourself into a position where you can make money. These are things that you're starting to align with really naturally, in a way that you used to feel like it required a lot of effort. Like that was the only way. And maybe that's how you were taught. I was taught that. I was really ingrained with that. Two. As I tell you that these dynamics are switching, babe. Like this is the end of year 9. If you're into numerology, this is completing a Sirius cycle. If you have noticed anything serious about your growth since 2016, this is ending a huge cycle, specifically with a lot of people pleasers, specifically with a lot of people who just got really used to being put on the back burner, because that's where they started putting themselves. And you were possibly living this like lukewarm life where you were just like, I'm not really interested in this, but I also feel like this is kind of safe, and that means that it can happen. And I'm letting you know that picking the good things can also feel really safe and actually kind of cushiony and soft and lovely. And you're barreling towards that. You're no longer taking these small steps. I feel like you've got some serious grounding going, and you're feeling that. And you're feeling specifically working with your root chakra and your solar plexus, knowing that you feel safe and that you feel confident in your abilities. Because this is not about a time where you're asking anybody else what you can do with your life, or what you think you should do, or what you should try next. I feel like that cycle is quite literally over. So proud of you. And I think you're doing a great job. I think you're doing a great job. And if you don't tell yourself enough, I'm going to give you one tiny actionable step from this. Every day, as often as you find yourself in the mirror, I may have clapped over this too much. As often as you find yourself in the mirror, I want you to look yourself dead in your beautiful little eyes. And I want you to say, you did so well today. You did a great job. I'm so proud of you. And that's it. Every day. And watch how you continue to infiltrate this programming that says you should be anything but proud of the growth that you have made, regardless of how far you have come, regardless of how hard it has been. You did really well today. Okay, I love you. See you soon. Bye.